Welcome! In today's video, we look into the shocking details of the terrifying murders committed by a man who was given the infamous title, the Golden State Killer. Joseph James DeAngelo is believed responsible for a series of heinous crimes during the 1970s and 1980s. These crimes include 12 murders, at least 50 rapes, and multiple home burglaries. His alleged reign of terror extended from the Sacramento area in Northern California to Orange County in Southern California, covering a vast geographical range. Orange County District Attorney Tony Rackauckus highlighted the scope and severity of DeAngelo's crimes, which left a trail of fear and devastation throughout the state. The arrest of Joseph James DeAngelo Jr. in 2018 was surprising because detectives used a genetic technology used by many people to trace family trees to catch the elusive Golden State Killer. However, it has been revealed that the DNA matching effort to catch the killer was more extensive. The investigators secretly searched the private DNA databases of two companies, even though these companies had privacy policies in place. This new information may lead to more discussions about genetic privacy, how testing companies handle user data, and the access law enforcement has to such information. Joseph James DeAngelo Jr., the Golden State Killer, pleaded guilty before going to trial and is serving 26 life sentences in a California prison. Investigative genealogy's legality is still relatively new and has not faced significant legal challenges. While considered a vital tool for solving crimes in law enforcement circles, regulations and legislations have not caught up with its use. The Golden State Killer committed a series of rapes and murders in California during the 1970s and 1980s, but it took many years to identify a suspect. Joseph James DeAngelo was a police officer in Exeter, California from 1973 to 1976. In 1975, while serving as a police officer, DeAngelo shot and killed a professor named Claude Snelling in front of his daughter at their home in Visalia, California. He also assaulted the daughter before fleeing. The Golden State Killer would break into his victims' homes while they slept by prying open windows or doors. He sometimes stole jewelry, identification, cash, and coins from the victims' homes. Over time, the burglaries turned into rapes and murders along the California coast. In February 1978, the Golden State Killer committed a tragic act by shooting and killing Brian and Katie Maggiore, a couple walking their dog in the Sacramento area. After Brian was shot, Katie tried to flee and call for help, but DeAngelo caught up with her and fatally shot her in the head. DeAngelo struck again on December 30th, 1979, killing Deborah Manning and Robert Offerman in Goleta, near Santa Barbara. These were among the many devastating crimes he committed during his reign of terror as the Golden State Killer. In 2018, DeAngelo's name came up in the investigation, and he became the first person to be arrested using genetic genealogy. This technique uses the DNA of an unknown suspect left at a crime scene to identify them by tracing their family tree through voluntarily submitted DNA from their relatives in public genealogy databases. Investigators surveilled DeAngelo and collected his DNA from a tissue he had discarded. They matched his DNA to DNA found at crime scenes, leading to his arrest in April 2018. When arrested, he seemed very innocent, even pointing out that he had kept a toast in the oven. DeAngelo pleaded guilty to 13 counts of first-degree murder in June 2020. He also admitted to multiple uncharged acts, including rapes. As part of the plea deal, the death penalty was removed, and he will serve life in prison without parole. Since his arrest, over 150 suspects have been identified through genetic genealogy. From August 18th to August 20th, 2020, in court, Joseph James DeAngelo faced the survivors of his rape attacks and the relatives of those he had killed. The survivors shared their stories of fear, grief, and resilience. Jane Carson Sandler, one of the survivors, recounted her traumatic experience of being raped in 1976 while at home with her son. She described being frozen in fear and worrying about her son's safety during the attack. Even after many decades, the scars of her attack still linger. Certain triggers, such as seeing a ski mask or hearing someone yell, "Shut up," cause her enduring anxiety. However, she found some comfort in knowing that DeAngelo would finally be held accountable for his crimes and spend the rest of his life in prison. On August 21st, 2020, DeAngelo was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole for the heinous crimes he committed as the Golden State Killer. During the court proceedings, Joseph James DeAngelo had been sitting in a wheelchair and covering his face with a white mask, as victims and their family members said. However, at one point, he stood up from the wheelchair and removed the face covering. Facing the survivors and family members, he addressed them directly, saying, "I've listened to all your statements, each one of them." He expressed genuine remorse, stating, "And I'm truly sorry to everyone I have hurt. Thank you, Your Honor." That concludes today's video. Thank you for watching.